everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Cheyenne. I am a mom, wife, rancher, business owner, nurse, and I typically do budgeting videos, but we are interrupting this budgeting video for a homeschool review. So I wanted to just show what we are using this year for homeschool for my kindergartner. So let's start with this guy. So we are going to be using Christian Light Education as one of our primary curriculums. And so we are using the Kindergarten 2, and this is the teacher's guide. And you have 5 workbooks and 5 activity books. So in the teacher's guide, it tells you exactly what to do, right? So it goes through, tells you what to say, what to do. It goes through each of the lessons. It has a great introduction on things that you can work on. It tells you how to work on different motor skills, work on the Bible and memory singing, exactly how to evaluate their work that they're doing. So it gives you a lot of really good supporting materials. And then in the back of the book as well, there's different like flashcards and things like that that you can cut out. So let's just take a look at one of the lessons. All right. So in your first lesson, it tells you what to do before the class to prepare. It tells you your objectives, what materials you may need, and then optional activities and materials that you may need. So then it goes through step by step, and it's correlating with your workbooks. So the workbooks are what your student or your child is going to be using, and you can use these workbooks without the teacher guide, but I personally think the teacher guide is necessary because it just gives you so much more information, and it gives you so much more activities and things like that to do with each lesson. So if you look at the workbook, it says ask which things make sounds, discuss the picture items with the children and what sounds they make, color the ones that make sounds, and the pictures are cat, flower, tractor, and bird. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory. You can definitely use the workbook without the teacher's guide, right? Okay, but then here, there's so much more, right? So it tells you to go through each picture and what to say, what to do, but then it goes into, here's a poem. Read this poem to the kids. After you read the poem, what did they hear? What noises did they learn, right? Okay, and then you go to the next page, and you go to the next page of your workbook. All right, well, you have this little boy sitting in the sand, okay, and it tells you, ask where Sammy is playing. Sammy and sand begin with S. Draw a line from Sammy to each picture that begins with X. Put an X on the other pictures. So starting clockwise, and then it tells you what each picture is. Again, pretty self-explanatory, okay? But then if you come over here, it gives you more things to look at or things to do. It tells you to really stress the S sound with your student and your kid. Really stress what that S sound makes, okay? And then again, it just keeps going into different activities. And there's lesson 1, session 1, and then you also have an activity book, like I mentioned, and not just the workbook. So in your activity book, these are things that they're going to be doing like physically more. So here, cut out the pictures on the right and glue them to where they go. So you have like a hanger, a barn, a ball, a person's foot, and then a book. So it gets them to think and then to actually do cutting and gluing. And they're thinking, okay, well, here's a ball. Does the ball go with a cow? Yeah, probably not. Probably goes with the baseball mitt, right? So they're really thinking and getting to learn these different things, right? And then there's like mazes, and so you're tracing the blind man. He wants to be healed. Help the blind man get to Jesus so that he can be healed, right? So again, you can totally do this without the teacher's guide, And there's 5 workbooks and 5 activity books. But the teacher's guide is just so helpful. And especially if you're not a teacher and you are not, or if this is like your first time being a homeschool teacher or a homeschool mom or parent, there's so many extra things in here that you can do, right? And it'll tell you like, have your kid draw things on the board. So like for this bubble one in the teacher's guide, so it says stand up and look at the board. Have the teacher trace their hand. Have the teacher show them the difference between right and left. Have the teacher show them how to draw a circle and where to start. And so then you can have a kid go up to a whiteboard if you have it and do these things. Whereas if you just had this page, it's just saying have them trace the circles to learn how to do a circle. Whereas in the book, it's telling you different things to teach, teaching them left, teaching them right, knowing which hand to write with, and where to write on your paper, and teaching them paper orientation and things like that, are just some of the little nuggets that you get out of having the workbook. So highly recommend it. We will definitely be using this for first grade moving forward as well. And then once you get into the first grade curriculum, Christian Light breaks it down into math, reading, writing, literature, science, different subjects. Whereas for kindergarten, it's just like a basic entry kind of thing, right? So because of that, I did get some extra supplemental curriculum. So I got from MasterBooks, I got a science curriculum, and there's several different science curriculums out there. There's a ton. One thing I love about MasterBooks is, first of all, it's Christian based. And so everything is brought back into the Bible and brought back to how God made you. So for example, in this lesson right here, day 2, in our last lesson, we learned that God created you. Did you know that God also knows you? In Psalm 139, 1-4, it says, and then there's your verse. So you learn all the things, all the basic science things, but then it's also bringing that back to how God made you, God made the earth, and teaching you those great biblical views. And so that's one thing I love about this science. Another thing I love about this curriculum too is that it's just very basic. So like you're really just, it's a great start for kindergarten, I feel like, because you're really just hitting all the basic points, like how to take care of yourself, how to brush your teeth and wash your hands, learning about like light and dark and shadows and shapes and sizes. And then it starts to dig more into like plants and animals and a little bit of the weather. You learn a little bit of, so like this one talks about nighttime. And so you learn a little bit about the moon. And you get to make different crafts and things like that. So basically everything you need for your science is right here in this book. MasterBooks also has math and literature for kindergarten, and then they also have like a social studies piece. And so I got the social studies or history, whatever you want to call it. This one is more of a social studies. So you have you're learning about how to be a citizen and learning about different cultures and your community, learning about your friends, learning about traveling, traditions around the world, basic things like raising your hand when you want to talk, helping each other, right? Providing a helping hand, keeping each other safe, things like that. So you're learning all of those lessons that they're not necessarily getting in the other curriculum. And so this is one that I really, really like. A lot of this, you're tearing stuff out, you're cutting, you're coloring, you're doing different activities. So this one, again, everything you need is right here in this book. And one thing that's pretty fun with this book, with this curriculum, each lesson, you're learning about a different country or a different area. And then you're learning how to say thank you in that language. So here they're talking about Bulgaria, and you're learning how to say thank you in Bulgarian. So then it gives you the word, and then it gives you how to break that down. So I'm sure I'll butcher this, but Blagadaria, which is thank you. And so then once you learn about this and learn about these people, there's a map in the back, and you go and you color in that spot. So you go back here and you find your map. And so you find your Europe map, and then it has them numbered. So number 2 is Bulgaria. So then you find number 2 and you color that in, because now we've talked about it. And so then they get to say, they can save this into a binder, and then they can go and you can look back on all the different countries you learned about and how to say thank you in their language. And then again, there's different flashcards that they provide in the back for you, different words that they're learning and what they mean. And then there's flashcards on all the different languages. So there's, thank you in Spanish. And then if you flip it over, so if you flip it over, gracias. And then it breaks it down for you, gracias, right? So then you're able to help your child break that down. So again, I really, really like these curriculums as well. I feel like they're just very basic, straight to the point. You can get them done quickly. And there's just not a lot of fluff. That's one thing I really like about the Christian Light too, is that there's just no fluff. Like, it's just straight to the point, get your work done, learn what you need to. And I also love how it's just very simple. It's just very black and white. They can add colors, they can color things. Everything is just very simple. Like, there's not a lot of color. It's not super bright and flashy, and just so much going on that they can't even focus on what they're supposed to be. I feel like some of the curriculums, they're very, very pretty, but there's just so much going on that, like, for me, I'm like, how do you even focus on what's going on? Because there's so many colors and so much things on the page that, like, how are you even supposed to focus? So like with this, there's a lot going on here, but it's all very basic. And this is this company, they are an Amish company. And so you do see a lot of that, like, Amish type culture or religion in their books. So it's just very basic, very wholesome. And then again, all of this is Christian based. And so you are circling everything back to God, and you're learning Bible verses, and you are just learning so much, and so much more than just what you have to learn in school. So that is the curriculum we are going to be using. I do have an affiliate link for MasterBooks. So if you are interested, I will put that in the description box below. So if this is something that you're interested in, be sure to check out that link. And then I will also just link Christian Light Education as well. So if you want to check that out. So yeah, we are super excited to start our homeschooling journey. My son is very excited. He keeps asking me, like, every day, is it time to start school? So we're really excited. And after, we get going and we do this for a while, I will definitely post an update on kind of how it's going, what we're loving, what we're not loving, and maybe what we might change for the next year, or just change through the semester. So yeah, I'm really excited to learn how this all goes and see how it all goes. And if you guys have any tips and tricks, if you're a homeschool mom or homeschool dad or parent, and you have any tips and tricks or anything that you love as far as curriculum or different tools or any like must-haves, be sure to leave that in the comments so we can all learn from each other. So I hope you all have a blessed day and happy homeschooling.